Meanwhile, Bill Belichick found a loophole for Tom Brady to avoid media this week, according to Yahoo Sports. The NFL has provided the Patriots with an exemption, meaning the team doesn't have to officially add him to the active roster until Saturday. Therefore, he's not required to speak to the media. The team will have no media access on Saturday as they'll be traveling to Cleveland for Sunday's game. But Bill had to speak to the media, and this is what he had to say about Brady.
How do you relate to the team that Tom's return isn't a fix-all?
We all got to do our job. All got to do our job better. We all got a lot of things to work on, and that's easy.
Tom, how are you feeling about getting Tom back? Do you feel like he can finally exhale?
I feel like we need to go out to Cleveland and play well in order to win. That's what we're going to try to do.
A lot of fans seem to think that the suspension, they're hoping the suspension, will sort of inspire Tom and the rest of the team to play even harder with more intensity. What do you think about that? Think that could be?
I think our team needs to prepare well this week and go out to play well against Cleveland in Cleveland. That's what we need to do.
You talked to Tom. How does he seem? Seem ready for? Does Tom seem ready for Cleveland physically, mentally, attitude-wise?
We'll go out and practice today and see where our whole team is. You have to ask Tom how he's personally feeling. That's something I can't answer.
Bill kind of dressed it up there with the button down underneath the sweatshirt there. At least he's consistent, Max. Do you have a problem with him kind of dodging questions there and then Tom Brady not having to speak to the media?
I don't. And normally, this is what I usually say about Bill Belichick. This is from my greatest hits, volume 2. Some guys I talk about, like Marshawn Lynch, can get away with stonewalling the media, and another player can't. I don't know why. It's because probably Marshawn Lynch has just something that I find charming, and I don't find the other guy charming. I feel the same way about Popovich and Belichick. Popovich doesn't give answers to the media, gives non-answer answers, and I find it charming for whatever reason. Belichick does it, and it doesn't come off the chart. I find it obnoxious, and I think he's shirking his responsibility to the media and all that, because there is some. You have to answer questions, and he frequently doesn't. For example, when he was asked about Garoppolo's injury, he gave non-answer answers. I'm going to contrast this to what he just did. He said, well, the trainers do their job, and I'm the coach. I coach the team. Wait a minute, Bill. That's the coach. That's not the same thing. The trainer can tell you he's cleared to play, but what's the long-term ramifications?
So you do have a problem with that?
Hold on. What's the long-term ramifications? If he's cleared to play now and I play him, is he much more likely to get hurt? If he's hurt the second time, is it worse? In other words, a head coach has to balance the short-term interest with the long-term interest of the season. So to say that the training staff does their thing, I do my thing, that's a disingenuous non-answer. For that, I criticized him. However, for this, I can't criticize him. He's using a loophole to get Brady out of having to talk to the media, which I'm sure Tom Brady appreciates. And look at questions he's asked. Can you exhale now that Tom Brady is back? What kind of question is that, really? How he answers that, we got to get ready for Cleveland. Can Brady's return inspire the team to play better? We have to get ready for Cleveland. The reason the Patriots have been the best organization in football since Bill Belichick took over, almost an unbroken stretch, it's an unbelievable dynasty in the modern NFL, is because he's smarter, yes. He is better prepared with more attention to detail. For example, just use that loophole to get Tom Brady out of talking to the media. He has bigger guts. He goes for it on fourth down in situations where other coaches won't. And he always stays focused at the task at hand. The Patriots are 3-1 without Tom Brady. They're going to play a very bad Cleveland team. And he won't entertain for a second even thinking about answering the question, will Brady make you better? He, and therefore his team, is focused on one thing: beating Cleveland. That's why they win 12, 13 games every single year. That's why they win Super Bowls, because they are focused at the task at hand. And for this press conference, I cannot blame Bill Belichick.
Well, I'm a lot quicker than you in getting to the point and saying this. Bill Belichick is wrong in this particular situation, because it's not just about Tom Brady and it's not just about Cleveland. It's about all that has happened. And what happens is that if you're Bill Belichick, according to my sources, what I reported months ago, remember, there was this belief that he might have had something to do with Deflategate. And so when you hearken back to Spygate based on 2007, the belief is that the NFL told Bill Belichick, and the Patriots that if you are found to have been egregious in any kind of actions that threaten the integrity of the game, you will be banned. And so when you take that into consideration, one must ask themselves, why do you tweak the NFL? Why do you tweak the media in such a way that you're inviting stuff to come your way? Because, again, it spells trouble. I don't blame Bill Belichick for much. I'm a fan of his. I'm a native New Yorker, and I think he's phenomenal. I wish he had stayed with the Jets. I think he's a phenomenal coach, and it's not just because of Tom Brady, regardless of what his record is without Tom Brady, which is barely at 500. But I will tell you this. When I think about Bill Belichick, I find myself saying, damn, it's the same thing that you'd say to a player or anything else. Is that really, really necessary? You've got the media there. They're asking you questions, and you want to sit up there and talk about, look at what kind of questions they ask. Well, look at the kind of position they're in. They're essentially at the mercy of the team. You're trying to get quotes. People have jobs to do or whatever. He has no sensitivity to that whatsoever. And the only problem that I have with that is I get tired of coaches in all sports acting like people just want the games. That's not true, because people want the off-day stories too, especially in the NFL, because you only get one game a week. So to really elevate the interest of the sport, what you do on those off days matter. You're sitting there and you're using a loophole to make sure that Tom Brady isn't available because he's not on the roster until Saturday. That way he doesn't have to address the media during the week. Well, you're prolonging it. So ultimately, when he gets in front of the media, they're going to bombard him with those questions. What's the problem? Get it over with. It's like you go out of your way to distance yourself and to exacerbate situations and to elevate the level of shrapnel of criticism that may go your way. And why? For what? Because all of this is part of your job. There is no contract involving a player or a coach that simply says you have to just play or coach. You have obligations. And even though he stood up there before the media and he says we're moving on to Cleveland, if it were me in that press conference, let me tell you the kind of question that I would have asked him. I would have said, Coach, let me ask you this. Is there something about the game going on in Cleveland that you're interested in discussing? Because the same kind of answers that he gave in terms of we're moving on to Cleveland, he would have given that if they didn't ask him about Tom Brady, if they didn't ask him about the past, if they didn't ask him about what they were going through in order to prepare for Tom Brady's return. He would have answered it the same. They would have said, could you talk to us about the Cleveland Browns? What are you seeing for the Cleveland Browns? You know, how do you plan on going up? He would have answered the same exact way.
You ready to lose this debate right now? Here's the thing. Nothing you're saying is wrong right there. Of course, that's true. Fans want stories. That's why the media has access to them. It helps pay their salaries, because it's not just the game. It's the characters involved. We sell sports as narrative. Show. That's what it is. Here are the characters. Here's what's at stake. That's why we're interested. And he's making it harder for people to do their jobs and sell the sport. That's true. But here it is, Stephen A. Ask Patriots fans, would you rather get more interesting stories during the week, or would you rather win Super Bowls? Because Bill Belichick's way, hyper-focused on the next opponent, and that is all, works better than every other coach's way.
That's your argument.
And you said he's 500 without Tom Brady since he became a great head coach in New England. Right. Without Tom Brady, their winning percentage is virtually the same as with Tom Brady.
Right, but there was a coaching job that he had before Tom Brady. And
that's before he was in his prime as a head coach.
That's hard, though, because he could have been learning.
I make the same argument against folks who go at him, but I'm just saying that happens to be factually correct. What I'm saying to you, getting back to your point, is this. They're not diametrically opposed, nor you don't have to look at it and say, okay, if I did my job here, that means I'm compromising my ability to do what I'm supposed to do in order to win Super Bowls. It's a legitimate argument to be made that the Patriots fan base could actually have both. All I'm saying is, when you are Bill Belichick and you wonder about the eye of the NFL and the kind of unnecessary trouble they seem to have aimed in your direction, maybe, just maybe, if you were a bit more, cooperative in some respects, you wouldn't have some of the troubles you're
arguing that the best is imperfect. Of course, nothing's perfect. If Michael Jordan would have been a better three-point shooter, he'd have been even better.
Well, Max,
but he was the best. Bill Belichick, his system works better than everyone else's.
If that's your argument that nothing's perfect, we might as well do away with all debate shows.
Why is that?
Because again, I can make that argument about anything we say. Who the hell cares? We know everybody's not. We know everything's not perfect.
Being imperfect is one thing. My argument is not that. It's that he is the best by so far that to argue that he could be even better is not really the argument, because who's to say that that would be consistent with his overall philosophy that has resulted in this level of success?
That's not my point. My point is you don't have to be that way to be as great as he is.
Oh, you're claiming that. That is your point.
That's his motto.
Maybe he thinks you do.
Ignore the noise, limit distractions. Maybe he has to do that to succeed.
But nobody's saying eliminate the noise or whatever the case may be. I'm saying you're standing up there anyway.
I get it, but I'm saying maybe that will detract from his focus, so that's why he chooses not to.
Forget it, y'all.
These questions did not require elaboration.
I knew you were annoyed at us.
I am annoyed. I am annoyed because that makes no sense. The point is that if you're standing up there anyway.
I get it.
Why? Why? I mean, for what?
Because maybe that's how he focuses. It's the Patriot way.
Remember, if a player did that, what would we be saying?
It depends how they did it. I just brought up Marshawn Lynch.
My experience.
As long as he's still punching in the end zone, I don't care.
My experience, I have seen players excoriated for conducting themselves in similar fashion. I didn't hear everybody. I'm trying to tell you.
At least he's consistent, though.
Yeah, wait a minute. But I started by bringing that up. There are some who can get away with it. I actually don't think Bill Belichick can. I don't think his personality is such that he sells it as charming the way Popovich does, the way Marshawn Lynch did. Some players and coaches get away with it. They have the personality to pull it off. Some don't. I think he actually doesn't. However, that is all wiped away by the fact that his way of doing things is demonstrably superior to every other coaches in the last 15 years. So whether or not it's charming, it works.
On the field.
Yes, on the field.
We're not
As Patriots fans, you're saying it's not mutually.
We can do this all day.
You're saying it's not mutually exclusive, that you can have this and that.
Max, you could talk for the next 10 minutes and explain it. It doesn't change the fact
but Bill Belichick's not saying
that nothing that he does there has anything to do with what we're talking about. We're talking about him is standing before the media. That's what he's doing.
Making sure his team is focused on the next game.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. His team is back there focused. You're standing in front of the media.
They're focused because the only quotes they see from their head coach is Cleveland, 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 Cleveland. So they think Cleveland.
And they follow his lead.
Really? That's what it is? So they wouldn't be that way if he answered questions?
No, look around the league.
Okay.
We don't know because we haven't seen it.
Okay.